Well, here we are again. It's been a little while since we've done any Virtual Pool 4 streaming, but we're back for some of Monday night 9-ball Scotch doubles. We've got 4 teams in. Well, we might get it all because it's just a single elimination tourney, so that's going to make it quick. We've got Wit and I think that's One Pocket Slim who are playing Romario and Wink at Me, and we have Senny and Hazard who are playing Larry and Potman, and it's race to 7 all the way through, and the second match Senny and Hazard are getting a 7-ball against Larry and Potman. What I think we'll do though is we will go into that top match between Wit and Slim and Romario and Wink at Me, and we'll get some of that. Now I think there's a problem there by the look of it, because I only see 3 players in the room. Now Romario, Wit and Wink at Me, and Slim is sitting in the chat. Oh, he looks as if he's joined now, so we'll join the room. And we're in the first rack, it looks like. No handicap in this match. I'm just going to do my usual quick little check. That's fine, seems to be working okay. Now Wink at Me I think can drop behind that 5 just into the left middle. The only problem Romario's got here is not blocking out on this 6. He doesn't want to draw back too far, and he's played that well. A little stun between the 8 and the 9. Now, I'm going to keep reminding people, in case there's anybody happens to stumble across this stream, when the clocks went forward last week, that means that the tournament, which normally starts at 7 PM GMT, is now starting at 8 PM BST, British Summertime. So the tournament starts an hour later, which doesn't help me because it's a working day tomorrow, and I need to get to my bed. So I'll do as much of this as I can, but the fact that it's single elimination means that we might be able to get it all in. In fact, I think we should. So Romario's going to seal the first rack, and that was a clinical finish or run out in that rack. So Wink at Me and Romario 1 up. Free ball has gone in. Push out has been called. Once again with a push out, you have to be wise when you're playing the push out shot. You don't want to push out and leave yourself in trouble. And when I say that, it means you don't want to leave your opponent an easy opportunity to put you in trouble. Because the obvious thing is that if they don't like the shot, they can put you back in, but you don't want to give them an opportunity to make it very difficult for you. And Slim managed to pot the 1. Now that too does go, and I think that we might be having problems here because Wit, his cue hasn't appeared, and this looks as if he might have disconnected. We'll find that out in a minute. Yep, Wit has gone, so his connection has gone down, and the message will disappear provided he gets back in reasonable time. And what I'll do is I'll just take a wee break here for 2 seconds. I'll be back. Right, I think we're good to go again. Well, good evening to anybody that might be watching. I don't assume that there is. Chat should be working. Twitch chat and YouTube chat will mix on the screen. So Wink at Me and Romario lead by 1-0 in a race to 7. And Wink at Me's managed to get Romario in as good a position behind that 4 as he could, but Romario's overcut it into the rail. Now this is a type of chance that Wit and Slim are going to have to take out. And Wit needs to watch this cue ball here because it can drift away to the left as we look and go behind this 6 ball. He needs to get this right. And he's checked it up with inside English just to straighten the cue ball off the rail. So here's the important shot. He needs to get across the table to leave Wit as good a shot on this 9. And this is a little tester for him. Test his nerve. And then it goes. And that was important that they run out there. Gets him back all square. So Slim breaks off in rack number 3. The brake looks dry unless I've missed something. Dry brake. And no shot in the 1 really. And it might be difficult to actually push that 1 out of that corner. In fact, Wink at Me doesn't like the idea of that, so he's going to play the push out. And I think I would actually put them back in here in this situation, because it's not going to pot that one ball, and they're going to find it very difficult to leave the cue ball safe with this shot. Well, that cue ball, he's actually played that very well. A little bit of top on it, and the cue ball has just kissed off the 6. And that little forward momentum's just killed the cue ball. And Romario might have enough room. No, it looks a bit tight. He could maybe possibly play the reverse bank into this bottom right hand corner pocket as we look. I think he can see enough of that, even if he just spun. He doesn't look as if he's playing it. Let's have a look, a closer look. Well, he's trying to just push the one safe. And is the cue ball going to get cover? Well, it's behind the 5, but one pocket slim, pretty handy with the jump cue, so this shouldn't cause much of an issue for him. Of course, you don't know where the cue ball's going to end up, but the chances are it's going to end up at the top end of the table. Well, that's better than nothing. At least it's out in the open, and at least Witt has a pot on the 2. Now, let's have a look. Path of the cue ball can go there and there, and maybe hit into the 7 or the 4, but it would leave a shot on the 3. Now the problem with that shot is he's chickened out. He hasn't hit it enough, but you can see the cue ball's going on that path. But he had to make sure he went round the corner and get out, and he's left his partner nothing, even if he'd potted the 2. So this is where you have to be thinking about the shot you're playing and go through with the shot. Don't bottle out on it. And Witt didn't get into that enough. Having said that, Romario doesn't have a great shot in this 3, and he's played it well though. It's a good cut and good position in the 4. And this could be punishment for Slim and Witt here. Romario, he could go across the table twice here, which he's done, and he's played that one well. And there's a little angle there as well, so Wink at Me can get this cue ball out. It looks like he's coming back though. And now the cue ball is going to be running, but anywhere really in the middle of the table would do, as long as it's off the rail, and that gives Wink at Me a nice little pot in the 8, and the cue ball just to run down. Now again, we know what the problems are here. He doesn't want to go low on the 9. He wants to finish somewhere like that, and that will do nicely. So Romario and Wink at Me, they were given the opportunity, and it looks very likely that they're going to take it for a 2-1 lead. Oh, that went to the rail first there, but it's gone in. And Romario breaking off in rack number 4. Dry break. Now one pocket slim has no shot in the 1 into the middle. It would be an ambitious 1-9 combo if he tried that. But he does have a pot into the corner. He looks as if he's lining up this 1-9 attempt. Now the way these balls are sitting, this could be dangerous, because okay, if he gets it he's a hero, but if he misses it and leaves a shot on, Wink at Me and Romario could be looking at the run out here. And he's gone for it. And he's left it on. So let's see if Wink at Me and Romario can administer full punishment for that attempt on the combo. And here's the first difficulty for Romario. He's got a fairly straight 2-ball, and he's got to go forward and not block his partner out on this 3 when he comes back up. And he's left it short. And now Wink at Me needs to look at a decent safety here. Difficult to get on this 4-ball. So it's ball in hand again for Romario and his partner. But again, this is the difficult ball as the 4. It's just an awkward position, excuse me, on that side rail. Let's have a look at the 5 and the 6 here. Well, we can see the 5 clearly goes, so there isn't a problem with the 5. It's just getting down good onto it. And Romario has got Wink at Me a shot in the 4 with a little angle just to punch it through. I don't know whether Romario's got enough room to make the angle. Well, he has, just to run through onto the 6. And what's he got here? Well, that's fine. A little run through and out. Make sure he leaves his partner an angle on that 7, just to pot the 7 into the middle and just drop through. Well, this is a little half ball pot, plain ball I would think, just to run down onto that top rail up by the 8-ball. Well, he's hit that too hard, much too hard. Still left the pot on, but again it just means the cue ball's travelling. And that will do. Enough pace on that cue ball to finish nicely on the 9. So it's going to be a 2-rack cushion here for Romario and Witt. And of course this is winner breaks, this tournament. So Slim and Witt really need to somehow get some sort of response here. Wink at Me breaks off in rack number 5. And the 4-ball and the 6-ball have both gone. 1 ball's dead on the bottom rail, and just to push out once again, push out has been refused this time. So again, with that cue ball where it is and the 1 ball right on the rail, it's tight and it's difficult just to get this really safe. We've got to very thinly clip the 1. And that's not bad. It's not bad, but Slim will have a pot at this. He's got plenty of room on that left-hand side of the table to find a gap and leave his partner on the 2-ball. And not easy to play a decent safety here either, so he's gone for the cut it into the rail. But once again the mistake has been made, and once again Romario and his partner have a chance to pinch the frame, or the rack, sorry. Now that's gone wrong, has it? I think it has. You can't see the edge of the two, but he'll no doubt bring out the jump stick. And there's a good angle on this jump shot anyway, so if he pots the two, the cue ball's definitely coming down this bottom end of the table for the three. But if he goes on the right hand side, he's going to have to get good. Oh, and that's a good effort, but he's left the two hanging. So, and here's the difficult shot. This two ball buried deep into the pocket, and it's difficult to judge how to control that cue ball to get it out, and that's not bad. At least Slim has the pot in the three, but once again he's going to have to let this cue ball travel up and down the table, I think. I don't know whether he's got enough to... Well, he's trying his best to hold it, and he's made a good effort at it. So important here for Wit and Slim to take this rack out. Well, this is going to be a problem if Slim can't get behind this 8 ball. He has to get to the bottom side of this 8 to make it easier for Wit to drop the 8 in and get the cue ball through for the 9. So he's going to have to draw back. And he needed a bit more on that, because that's now... Well, he's left him a shot into the middle, but it's not an ideal shot because he's straight, and he's going to try and maybe do a bit more than he wants to with this ball. He's trying to pinch a slight angle here, and this could go disastrously wrong. And he's managed it okay. Now, if Slim had got on the bottom side better on that 8, it'd have been much more comfortable, but as it is, Slim's got a shot to get it back within 1. And now, of course, they have the break in rack number 6. Race to 7. Well, I seen this game, I think the first I heard about the game was actually on Click on BBC, on the BBC News channel, where they were talking to the developers of it. I've seen all these World Snooker official games over the years, and they're all pretty much the same. You have the aim and arrow, and you have the power control. It's nothing like VP4, and it's far... the one thing I always found about those snooker games is it was far too slow. You take so much time having to set up a shot and control your power and all that stuff. Graphic wise, I mean, graphics, I presume there's the game's still to be released in a few days, is it not? No doubt they can bring out a patch or whatever to fix it, but as I say, you know, the only thing about it is it's just a more up-to-date version of previous versions of the same game. It's just got different players in it. You know, all the latest players, you can, I think, from what I read, you can be any one of the 128 players on the tour, and you can play in all the tournaments that they have on the tour, so that's a fair few tournaments. But I think you'd get bored very quickly with that game. So it's just a rehash of all previous versions of the same game. I don't think there's anything remotely new that's going to be in it to excite people. So Romario and Wink at Me look as if they're going to open the gap again. And it's now 4 racks to 2. This is where games like Virtual Pool 4 and Shooters Pool have the advantage over that World Snooker game. You know, the same type of people will play it that play any other game that allows you to have tracking lines and everything. You don't necessarily learn much from that. All you do is line up the shot using the aiming line and pot the ball. In terms of actually working out how to play a proper shot and try and get position, I don't think you'll ever learn that by playing those games. You're going to learn that by playing Virtual Pool 4 and something like Shooters Pool, because well, Shooters Pool you can play online with tracking lines. Virtual Pool 4 is just the bare bones. It's down to your overall skill and knowledge in this game, which is again another reason why a lot of folk don't play it online. It's too frightening for them. So 4-2, and Wit and Slim have a chance to get one back again. Now how's that finished? Well, that's not bad, but it's a tight shot for this 7 ball to follow it. And the other problem is that Slim is tight more or less on this rail, so he's got a tough shot here. It's easy enough to pot the 6, and he's dead straight as well, so if he's going to try and pinch something here, which he has done, he's played that not too bad at all. Now can Wit control his pace here? He just needs to pot the 7 and not really worry an awful lot about this cue ball, as long as he doesn't overhit it. He needs to be gentle enough to come off that rail and out for the 8 ball. And, you know, he's thinking too much there. And he's overhit it, and he's overcut the 7. And the only saving grace there is the 7 has gone fairly safe, I think. Let's have a look. Well, that's too tight to attempt a pot in that way, surely. Is he going to try and thin cut it? This will be a good shot, and he's actually overcut it. And would you believe it, the 9 ball has gone in. Oh, and that is a painful blow there for Romario. Sorry, for One Pocket Slim and Wit. But they had their chance, and Wit, well, he overthought, overcut, and overhit it. That's basically what he did in that shot there, and that's cost him dearly, albeit in an unfair way with a fluke 9 ball, but all it means is they are now trailing by 5 racks to 3. So it's not looking good for Slim and Wit. And I think that shot that Wit played there, that's one of those examples where players think far too much about what's happening and don't just go on with it and play the shot. But that shot would be an awful lot easier to play if you're in full control of the pace of your shots. And you can see that Wit overhit it by like a foot. Well, this time One Pocket Slim gets the fluke, 2 ball hanging over the top left pocket. 3 ball is open past this 4 ball. Now, they really have to run out here. I mean, there's no excuse this time. The major problem, if there's going to be one, is going to be getting from that 5 ball back down here for the 7. So the cue ball needs to be fairly adjacent to the 5 ball to make it easier to control the cue ball down to the 7. If you're playing this 5 ball from a distance, it makes it much more difficult. Well, Witt has blown it again. Well, has the 4 ball come to the rescue? Now, knowing Romario, he's going to line this up for a combo. And at the moment, Witt is the weakest link. Romario's played the combo. Cue ball's running a bit far back up the table. Oh, I've been taking a break from streaming for a wee while. Well, Virtual Pool 4 that is. But as I mentioned earlier, maybe before you guys joined, but the clocks have gone forward, so this tournament effectively starting an hour later. The fact that it's now a single elimination, I'll probably be able to get it all in now. And that's all a question of whether these guys prefer this idea of messing about with tournaments. I mean, people like regular tournaments on a regular night. And, well, maybe it's in a response to people who don't want the double elimination. So now it looks odds on it's going to be 6-2. Well, the other thing to look forward to now, I think it's next week, is going to be the qualifying for the World Snooker Championships 2019. The real ones, that is, not any PC game version. And then after that week, once the final qualifiers have gone through, the World Championships start, and lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, I've managed to get a week off my work so I can watch the first week of the Championships. That's a fluke that happens every year. Scratch and a break from Romario. 6-2. Ball in hand for 1 pocket slim. This table's not that healthy looking for the run out. So I can see that the chat on Twitch is working okay. I don't know whether anybody's on YouTube. I don't recall seeing the little YouTube logo. But you're welcome, guys. And the combo has been played by Witt, and that gets 1 back quickly, which they needed. They needed that desperately. And Witt needs to pull his socks up here a bit. A bit too loose, a bit too nervy, and a bit too much thinking. He needs to back his partner up if they're going to get back in this match. Now, I think, well, Slim can see some of the 1 ball. He can't see all of it. Is he going to try and play the little thin clip onto the 6? Well, in the end, I don't know what he tried. But whatever he did try, it certainly didn't work out. And it's given an opportunity for Romario and his partner. Well, Romario's hit the 2-ball, and if he hadn't hit the 2-ball, the run out was on. He's knocked it safe. Well, that's a little bit of a lifeline. That'll be a good shot for Wink at Me, playing this 1-ball deep in the pocket to try and get Romario a shot in the 2. And that is perfect. That's an excellent shot. Dead weight. Nice little angle in the 2 to get the cue ball out for the 3. And this match, well, from what looked like not an easy opportunity for a run out, it now looks as if it's all over. Well, this is the one that's going to decide the run out, because Romario is pretty straight on this 4-ball, and he's played a little stun, but there's too much angle in this 5, so the cue ball's running again. He needs to avoid running into the 7, I think. It looks odds on that he's going to run into it. Well, he has done. And here's a tester for Romario. Blind pocket, needs to watch the scratch in the middle. Needs to watch the scratch in the middle. Oh! Well, he's got away with that one. And this is dead straight. So it's all about judgment of pace here. Ideally, he wants to just draw back to that middle pocket on the right-hand side. Well, he's gone the other way. Has he gone too far? He's gone in the underside of the 9. Well, I don't know whether that's a cut back or whether it's better off going as a bank. He's playing the cut, and he's made a half-hearted attempt at that. Now there's a chance for Witt to pinch another one back here. Just go up, have a quick look at the angle, and then play the shot, and don't dwell on it too much. And in it goes. So this time, Witt and Slim handed a lifeline there. So it's now 6 racks to 4. And 1 pocket Slim breaks off in rack number 11. Look at where the 9 is. Oh, now. Well, this match has to be over now, because you can see enough of that 1 ball to run it into the 9. And it doesn't look a difficult combo. He's just looking at the angle. And this has got to be the match, or shot for the match here. Well, I'd be playing either the. I mean, it looks a little bit thin for the carom. He's got to get it extremely thin to make the carom. I'd be bending round the 3 with a little bit of right hand side just to actually make that the potting angle and the 1 onto the 9. I don't think the carom's easy, because well, now he's looking to play the jump. And in it goes. And in the end, he played a good shot. And Wink at Me and Romario win the match by 7 racks to 4. And with it not being double elimination, that's Witt and Slim. Well, that's their attempt over for this week. And now we will jump straight into the other match and see what's left in it. And we've got Seni and Hazad, who are team 1. And in the HUD up top, they're getting a 7 ball against Larry and Popman. And at the moment, it's Popman at the table, trailing by 2. Seni and Hazad on the hill. And this is not going to be an easy run out for Larry and Potman, because first problem Larry's got is where the 5 ball is and getting this cue ball down there. And that 4 ball looks pretty tight to the rail. This is very difficult. He's thinking about 2 things here: making the pot at least, and controlling the cue ball for his partner to have a shot in the 5. Now, if that just nudges, caught it too thick. And now Potman, well, I don't think it's worth making any attempt to pot that 5 in the middle. He has to just play this safe. Just push it up between the 7 and the 8, up to where the 9 is, and try and maybe send it off the end rail. He wants to push it that way and just try and nudge it behind the 9. Well, he's gone the other way, but look what he's done. Has he left a shot? No, he hasn't. He's played it well. So it's the old kick and hope by Senny, and he's made the fatal mistake, and that's what you don't want to do, is actually break up balls that are sort of in an awkward position. He's now got the 8 and 9 sitting right next to one another. Larry has now got ball in hand. So Larry just going to roll the 5 into the left middle and roll through, and he needs to make sure he doesn't roll through too far here, but at least far enough to leave Potman an angle. And he's coming off the rail, and that's not bad. Now, can Potman control his pace, because the angle is natural to run off this end rail over to the right side rail and out, but if he overhits it, he could actually end up blocking Larry out behind the 8 and 9 here. He needs to be careful. And he's underhit it. And now Larry's got a problem, because he's going to have to inject pace into this cue ball to get a shot on this 8. That looks a good pace. Needs to spin a bit more up the table. And now Potman has got a shot on the 8. That isn't the problem. The problem is skimming off this 9 ball and where the 9 ball's going to finish. The chances are the 9 ball's going to obviously go to the left rail. And he's left Larry the reverse bank on the 9 here. Reverse bank into that top right hand corner pocket, or even the double will do, but they desperately need this. This is make or break here to stay in the match. It looks a good reverse bank anyway, this shot. It looks odds on he should get it. And it's going to double. So that's 1 back. Still trailing by 1, but with the break in rack number 12. 1 ball goes into the left middle. Now, how's their luck for position here? Well, what does Potman do? Potman has a clear shot in the 2, and if he's going to go for this combo in the, well, he should do, because it's difficult to get on the 3. He should give it a go. But make sure he hits it firm enough that that 9 ball isn't going to hang up. There's no way he can get Larry good on the 3 ball. Oh, it's just gone in. And that's exactly what they needed. A quick fire 9 ball combo. And it's 6-all, and we're into a final rack decider. Well, this tournament's going to be over in well good time for my bed. We've just got the final to come. And the 7 ball on the break into the top left hand corner. And a very thin pot into the left middle for Larry. It looks easier to pot that down the rail. He's bound to leave Potman a sight on the 2 ball. Well, he's put it in and got enough pace to get that cue ball out for the 2. I'll get a quick drink. I think the 4 ball clearly goes past the 9. Plenty of room, not a problem there. Now the task for Larry here is, because he's a bit straight in this 3, he's got to try and get Potman a slight angle in this 4. And he's got exactly the slight angle, because Potman can stun the 4 in if he wants, if he's brave enough, and the cue ball's going to go over to the left hand side for the 5. That's the shot I'd be playing. You've got to play the little stun. The cue ball, he's sort of just rolled it, you see. If he had stunned it across, the stun shot would have been the better shot, because he could have stunned it across there and left Larry something decent on the 5. He's now got Larry playing from this angle, so the cue ball can only go across here somewhere. And Larry can't afford to try and do too much here. Well, he's gone top side, played that with a lot of draw to punch it back up the table. And once again, Potman has the pot in the 6, but I don't think he can avoid hitting the 8. Can he just brush past the 8? I don't think so. I think he's going to be clipping this. But this time I think he should leave Larry a shot, maybe down into this pocket here. Cue ball will brush off it if he doesn't hit it too hard. You just got to brush it in and just clip the 8, and the cue ball should go to the rail and come out. Well, once again he's hit it far too hard, you see. That's just where he's went wrong. This could have been a lot tidier if he just played a nice gentle pot on it rather than putting too much pace in it. He's left Larry in trouble here. This is not easy. And Larry's having to work hard here to keep this run going. Partner giving him loads to do, and Larry's played that well, and that's nice pace. Pretty good position in the 9 just to roll it into the middle. And Potman doesn't want to be in 2 minds here. He wants to get his mind made up straight away. And he's rolled it in. Well, I haven't seen all of the match, but it looks like Larry and Potman were behind all the way, but they've managed to dig their way out, and they've beaten Hazard and Senni in a final rack decider, sorry, by 7 racks to 6. So now we've got the final, and it's Romario and Wink at Me against Larry and Potman. And we'll get in the room. And Larry's already in. He's keen to get started. Well, I've only been streaming for how long? What, 50 minutes? This tournament will be over in about an an hour and a quarter or so, or an hour and a half at max. So we've got 3 of the players in the room, just waiting on Wit arriving. And I don't think, I think it'd be unlikely that it'll be a handicap in this match. I think they might be pretty evenly matched, these two teams. There's no doubt about it. Wink at Me and Larry are both the strong players in each team. So, well, it was Popman we were waiting on. What am I thinking about? Aye, what was we one Pocket Slim? So we've got Romario and Wink at Me against Larry and Popman. We're lagging off for the break. And Romario has won the lag, and there is no handicap. It's a scratch match, race to 7 in the final. Well, an open shot for Larry, and the problem for the run out is that 4 ball, but the 4 and 7 are a fairly simple combo if you can get good in the 4. Now Larry's left Popman way too much angle on this too, so Popman can't hold for the 3, so he's going to have to run the cue ball. The question is whether he can avoid hitting anything down the table here. Well, he's trying to hold for the 3, and again, too much thinking going on here, trying to get too cute, and he's missed the 2 by a mile, and they've got lucky. And Wink at Me had a good effort there at the kick shot in the 2, but it's given Larry and Popman an easier start. Now, how are they going to deal with this 4 ball? Because the problem here is whether Popman tries to do too much here. Once again, Larry's left him much more of an angle than he would really like here to hold for this 4 ball. And he wants to be playing a sort of draggy shot on this 3 to kill the pace in the cue ball. That's exactly what he should be doing. You see, he's letting it run, and he needs to get up the table, and he's played that well. That's as well as can be expected there. He's given Larry every opportunity here to play the combo, and he's going to get this 10 out of 10. And he needs to play it fairly gentle, I would think, if he doesn't want this 4 ball to skid away somewhere. Well, you see now it's in no man's land, and Popman has a thin cut in the 4, and this cue ball is going to run up to that 8 ball though. You would think at best Larry's going to have a bank on the 5 ball. But the cue ball looks as if it's going to run right up into that corner. But once again, Popman has chickened out in the shot. He's trying to be too clever, and it's neither here nor there. He's missed the 4. You've got to be clear in your mind what you're doing and go through with the shot. Well, this is going to be hooked behind the 9 here. But we've seen earlier, Wink at Me is pretty handy with the jump cue as well. But never a guarantee that you're ever going to be getting your partner good on the 6. Well, here's a tough one. Down the rail with the 6 ball. Well, if anything, he's played that too well. Cue balls ran back out into the table, but the 8 ball's off the rail. So this isn't going to be difficult. Just about judging the pace to get Romario good on this 9 ball. Well, that's not bad. Romario should be able to roll this in for the first rack on the board. Nine ball goes in the break. That will be respotted. Well, Wink at Me's very solid. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a pretty good matchup. I mean, Romario, over the years I've seen him, he's a stronger player than Potman. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But Potman can pot a ball. I still say he thinks far too much on shots, spends far too much time overthinking things, and he just does not go through with the shot a lot of times. And Romario's the opposite. He doesn't think at all, and you know, a lot of times it works and then a lot of times it doesn't work. Two complete opposites. Romario just doesn't have the patience half the time, but he can pot a ball. And you know that most of the time Larry's going to be pretty solid. It's all about who makes the least mistakes. And probably the least mistakes between Potman and Romario, to be honest with you. Now, got to get up the top side here. Plenty of room to work with. And a nice angle for Larry in the 4. Just to drop down the right hand side there. And he wants to finish the top side of the 5, and he's gone too far. Now, when I say the top side of the 5, what Larry should have been doing was trying to finish there, so that Potman could just roll the 5 in and get the cue ball there for the 6. Now he's left Potman in trouble. Oh dear. And you see what, again, he's not confident enough. You can see that he's lacking confidence severely on certain shots. And that's just a giveaway. And Larry knows what he did wrong there. He overhit that. He wanted to finish the top side of that 5 to make life very simple. And this is a giveaway here for Larry and Potman. But Romario has got a straight shot in the 8. Got to get the pace right. Half the time when Potman's playing doubles, I think he's thinking far too much about not making a mistake. That most of the time he does make a mistake because of it. He needs to get that out of his head. So it's 2-0. And it really shouldn't be, because the one that was really to blame there was Larry. He knew exactly where that cue ball should have finished on that 5, overhit it, and left his partner with too much to do. Now, can Larry see this one? The answer to that is yes. He's dead straight in the one though. Well, that's exactly it. That's why, you know, Larry knew exactly where that cue ball should have been. And as soon as he went the wrong side of that 5, you know that you're asking Potman to do a lot more than he's comfortable with. He should have been just rolling that 5 into the left middle and a little roll through for the other, whatever other ball it was, into the right middle. That it was just a case of joining the dots there. And that's a poor one. Trying to hide behind the 8. At the same time, you've got to be confident in your own ability as well, and you've got to strive to learn certain type of shots so you can play your way out of jail sometimes. And there's a lot of players haven't made that next step yet. And this is looking all too likely it's going to be 3-0 here. Well, Wink at Me has got a thin one on the 6 here. He could be brushing across to the 8 ball here. He needs to be careful. Is he digging down to come over to the... he's running to the 9. Doing his best to avoid any collisions there. So Romario now has the problem. And Romario will go for this either gentle, where he'll just roll it in and leave Wink at Me, or he'll do that and get it across the table. See, Romario knows a lot of shots to play, and he plays them with confidence because he doesn't care. He's always been like that. He'll go for his shots, and when it works, it works. And when it's on, but when it's not, he'll make a hash of them. But it doesn't matter, because it's now 3-0. And Larry and Potman are backs against the wall already here in this final. And we need to see a bit more confidence here from Potman if they're going to stand any chance of getting themselves back into this. He has to back Larry up. Well, Larry can use the 5 as a stopper here and get that cue ball back up into the top left-hand corner. Well, Wink at Me has an easy enough kick behind the 1. Look at where the 2 ball is. 2 ball stone dead. No shot in the 2. Potman can certainly pot the 1, but he can't do anything at all to affect the position of that 2 and 5 ball. He has got no angle to do that. So he's just looking at Larry manufacturing a half decent safety here, I would think. Well, let's have a look. Can Larry play the billiard? I think there's a little thin billiard on here for Larry. Just a little feather on the 2 and a little brush on the 5. He's got to be really delicate here, but that 5 goes. and he didn't quite. I think in the end it maybe wasn't on, but that's what he was trying there. But it's another chance for Romario and Wink at Me to steal. There's a little bit of a lifeline here for Potman and Larry where the 8 ball is. It's just a little bit untidy up there next to the 9. Now, of course, the other solution to that would be getting good on the 6. Well, that shot there, let's have a look at what the angle's like. I think Wink at Me will just go through and back into the middle of the table to leave Romario. You know, he can go through and up just to leave Romario a shot in the 6. Is he trying to get behind it on the short side? No, he's just played it with check to check the cue ball. Now Romario can pot the 6, and there is an angle there if he wants to risk running into this 8 just to open things, and he's missed a 6. Well, can Potman at least give Larry a half decent shot in this 8? And you look, Potman's looking around again. He's looking for things, and it's easy enough to pot the 6 and just get distance down the table here to leave Larry a shot on that 8. He just needs to come up the table. You're looking at playing the safest option, and he's got a nice angle to clip the 6 and come up the table, but he's trying to play the delicate one. I don't think he's played it too badly, but the only problem is it's slightly the wrong angle, and Larry looks as if he wants to go forward. No, he's playing the draw. He's managed to hold it, no problem. And how's that look? Well, the 9's off the rail, so there isn't any difficulty here. Just feather it along the rail. And at last, barring a scratch, Larry and Potman have managed to get themselves off the mark and into the match. Now, can they follow that through in rack number 5? Something drop. The 4 ball has gone. Potman is in an ugly place here, right over that 7 ball. No problem potting the 1, but he just needs to make sure he doesn't block Larry out with the 3 or the 7 here. But I think he's dead straight. He's trying to make an angle here, and he's going to scratch. See, once again, he's just trying to do too much. Got to know your limitations and just get the cue ball out. There's a 5-6 combo sitting and waiting up there in the top right hand corner. Well, that's dead set. And, well, this should be 4-1. And Wink at Me has, well, there's 101 ways to scratch, or 1,002 ways. Wink at Me's just done it. And this is a gift for Larry and Potman. Well, Dirty Harry was very clever. Man's got to know his limitations, and that's exactly what you have to do in Virtual Pool 4. You don't have to try and do too much. Play within yourself. Yeah, they've definitely got to get out here. I mean, this is a dead set combo in the 5 and 6. Now, Larry, of course, with the honour of playing from the 5 to the 7, that shouldn't be a problem. But once again, he's got to try and get good in the 7, where he's not asking Potman to do too much. And let's have a look. I mean, once again, Larry's gone too far. He's now left Potman, and there's all sorts going through Potman's head here. If he tries to pot it that way, he's looking at a scratch in the middle. If he tries to thin cut it and pot it in there, he's looking at a scratch in the top. He's going to have to do something with the cue ball. So now he's in no man's land. And, well, he's played the pot. And he's left Larry no great shot on the 8. There's a half decent bank on the 8 here. And there's a thin cut on the 8. But either way, they simply have to get it. They've been handed a gift and a plate here. And they're doing their best to blow it. And that was well played. Just double check my camera's working. I forgot all about it. Well, that was a must win, that rack there, for Potman and Larry to make any sort of match out of this. They've got it back to 3-2. We're into rack number 6. Potman's been given the break by Larry. 8 ball goes into the left middle. And as long as that 4 ball stays out of the way, Larry can see the 1. Although he's not got any shot really. Now, does Larry push the boat out here? Because if he does and he misses, this is a run out rack the way this table's sitting here. And Larry's going to feel he's going to have to go for the cut into the top left, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think he went for that there. And it's it's another gift of a chance for Romario and Wink at Me. 1 ball into the right middle. Larry looked at the lay of the table there. He knew fine well that if he missed the 1, he was going to give them a chance to run out here the way all these balls were lying in the open. So that's why he felt compelled into having a go at the 1. So Romario and Wink at Me, really at the end of this visit, they should be up by 4 racks to 2. Well, he's going to have to get that cue ball out of that corner. Oh, let's have a look at this. Well, this isn't pretty. He could play this with a little bit of check side to finish this side of the 9. Just to try and hold. He doesn't look as if he is. He's just going to run it round. Well, he's going to bounce out, and this could have finished better, but Romario's got the cut down the rail, and he's overdone it. And where's the 9 ball finishing? Well, Potman should get this in 10 out of 10. This is a dead set bank. Well, I don't know why he's looking at the cut. This is a bank every day of the week, this 9 ball. I don't like the cut. I mean, yes, the cut's on, but I much more favour the bank. But he's got it. And we're back all square. And this match is swings and roundabouts here. Anything can happen, I think. This time Larry breaking off in rack number 7. 5 goes into the right middle. Now Potman having played that little cut there, he's got a choice of the cross bank on the 1, because that certainly isn't a cut, that one. Yeah, he tried it. And he's got away with it. He most certainly has there. Well, Wink at Me's using a jump shot here. He can't pot the one. He's just looking to just hit it and get out of the snooker. How's his luck? Well, he scratched. Now let's see. Let's see from this position. This is a run-out table. Every day of the week this is a run-out. But there are problems to be dealt with. Now Larry has got the first shot in the one. And he's trying to get the cue ball out. And again he's left it short. He's underhit it. And he's left Potman the thin cut in the two. Where's the cue ball going though? Because that means it's a lot more difficult for Potman to give Larry a sight on this 3-ball. Now even if he tries to come over to the left hand side of the table here, that 9 and that 6-ball are sort of in the way, but he's managed to check it up, and that's a good shot. That's his best shot of the night, and Larry likes it, and you know when Larry likes it, it was a pretty good shot. And Larry's nearly overcooked that one. He's okay though. Now, here's the important one. Well, the first important one. Potman can pot the 4. Now, if he plays this common sense and you have the angle brings the cue ball down here somewhere for the 6 into the middle. He might be too straight though. Let me have a look. Well, he spun it. Larry's got no shot. Does he play the safety? He looks as if he's lining up the safety. Try to lock them on behind the 9 here. That looks the easiest option. Or is he lining up the combo? He's got to be playing the safety surely. No, he's playing the combo. And he's got away with it. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay. Well, somehow Potman and Larry have worked themselves into the lead here. Now lead by 4 racks to 3. Potman breaking off in rack number 8. Nothing's gone down. And there's no shot in the 1. Now, is that 5 a bank into this bottom right hand corner? Commentator's eye always tells me that that looks like a bank. That 1-5. Now Larry is having a look. I think he fancies it. Let's see if that's what he's going for. It's going more or less to the diamond. Well, in the end, we'll give him the benefit because I think he did go more for the safety than he did for a bank. And that's a pretty good result. Bit of a distance there for Romario. See, Romario doesn't tend to play jump shots. He tends to look at ways of kicking out of problems rather than relying on a jump cue. And that's a good end result there. Now Potman can use the 9 as a stopper for this 1-ball if he wants to try and get distance. The danger though is sending that 9 towards that left hand corner pocket. He has to be careful. And he's gone the other way and he's played it well. Sent the 1 down the table. Well, okay. He hasn't covered it. And Wink at Me could go for a possible 1-6 combo. Wink at me, looking for cover, and he hasn't got it. Well, here is a chance. Now Larry having a look around the table. There doesn't seem to have a problem from the 1 and the 2. But Potman has to leave Larry an angle on this 4. It's imperative that he leaves an angle, because look at that 5 ball. It's pretty tight in that right rail. He has to give Larry the chance to get that cue ball out and across. And at the same time, Larry wants to be leaving a little angle on the 5. See, that's gone dead straight. And Larry's going to try and do a lot more with the cue ball here than he possibly can. And he's had to squeeze that with English to get it out. And that's why Larry couldn't really get great control over the shot. The only thing Potman was asked to do there was to leave Larry an angle, any type of angle, but not straight, and that's why they've ended up in this position. And I'd be feathering off that 5 and running for cover. Well, that will do. Well, knowing Larry, he's got to play the bank. That's the 5 balls off the rail, and it banks every day of the week, that shot. And he's got to leave Potman on the 6. But Larry's missed it. And it's gone into no man's land, which it means at least Wink at Me has to play a good shot here to get his partner on the 6. The shot I always play in this situation, when you have a shot like that, I go for it in that corner and I play it with left-hand English, so that when the cue ball goes to the rail, it fires around the corner and comes out and down for the 6. He's going the other way. Is he playing the bank or is he playing the pot? He's playing the bank, and in it goes. And that is perfect. Perfect because Romario has the angle. He doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. He just has to pot it and get the cue ball out. But he hasn't hit it. And that cue ball should have ran to there. So he's 2 foot short of where he should have been. And Wink at Me has played the safe. Once again though, that 7 is a pretty good bank shot. It looks more like a double bank up towards the 9 ball, and if it doesn't go in, back down the rail into this bottom left hand corner, he has to have a go at it surely. You're 4-3 up. You might as well ride your luck and have a go. If it misses the jaw, it's in, and that's a good shot. And it's dead straight on the 8, but Larry can play this with bottom and a little bit of left-hand English if he wants to draw the cue ball off the rail and up the table. He's playing a little feather of left-hand English in the bottom, so it'll fire off the rail and go over to the right, and it needs to keep going. He's left it way short. Well, I'd be playing the chicken shot here. I'd just be rolling dead to the 9. There's no other way of trying to get this safe. I'd be just rolling it dead to the 9. The negative safety. But it looks as if he's looking for the thin one. Well, this will be good if it goes in. It's off the rail. But he has to get it flush. Where's the cue ball? And he's got away with it. Well, that's a bonus. So Larry and Potman have opened up a lead, and that makes it interesting. Let's see what Romario and Wink at Me are made of now. Now they're going to have to work. And straight away Larry's broken scratched. And look at the table. There is not a problem in the table. The 2 ball has gone. Romario's got ball in hand. He's looking where to pot this 1 ball so that he can get the cue ball up the table for Wink at Me to have a shot in the 3, and well, it's the wrong angle in the 3. He's left that short, so now Wink at Me's got the same problem. He's going to have to manoeuvre the cue ball. Where is it going to end up? Well, this time Romario is hooked. Oh, and that's a brilliant shot. Unlucky with the position, but it was a nice little massé to pot that 4. Just looking for a bit of fortune here. And it's not gone safe. Now Potman has, look at the area that Potman has here. Thin cut on the 5. If he overhits it, he's going to come up the table. And he's played it the other way. He's controlled the pace well. Well, this has got to be 6-3 surely. Well, Larry's got a perfect angle on the 7, and he's going to have to leave at that little angle on the 8 so that, Potman, well, he's left the angle, and that means it's simple for Larry to pot the 8 and just run the cue ball up the table for the 9 into the left middle. That should be the plan. Well, it's now going to be 6-3. It's to roll in. Nothing stupid. Well, Larry and Potman have crept up and stole their way up to 6-3. They're on the hill. Larry passes the break to Potman. 8 ball thought about going in. The break is dry. Oh no, it isn't. The 5 ball's gone. Now, Larry can't pot the 1. He can cross bank the 1 onto the 8 ball. He's went for the safety of the billiard onto the 8. Well, that was always going to be risky from the point of view that you never knew where the 1 ball was going to finish up and whether your partner was going to have a sight on it, but Potman should just be looking at keeping distance here. He's got a perfect angle to punch that 1 just into the rail, send it up there and spin that cue ball back this way. He's had a smash at something. Surely he wasn't contemplating playing a combo on the 9 there. That was never on. And now they could be in trouble. Romario could bury Larry behind the 6 ball here if he wants to. Well, he's managed that anyway, but he's gone the other way. But Larry's got plenty of room to jump over the 6. He's looking at kicking behind the 2, I think, or is he lining up the jump? No, it's a little spin. Well, this would be a delicate little feather of a shot if he's going to just brush off the 1 and try and drop behind the 9. Leave the 1 in the rail and the cue ball behind the 9. Oh dear. Well, he's played that all wrong. Hit the 1 far too heavy and he's left it over the middle pocket. Well, I don't think it's great for well, Popman. I'm pretty certain he had a good go at the 1 there, but he's made a bit of a hash of that. But I think they'll get away with it. Good evening. Well, this used to be 9-ball Scotch doubles double elimination. It's now 9-ball Scotch doubles single elimination. We're in tonight's final. And Larry and Popman are on the hill. Now, I mentioned earlier about knowing your limitations. Now, here I'd be playing the safety. It's an easy safety. Just bank the 2 over to the left-hand side and cue ball over to the right-hand side. He's gone all out for the pot. Well, it's not anywhere near an easy 2-9 combo. This the 2 passes the 9. So he should be playing the pot here. Well, you'd think this is last chance saloon here for Romario and Wink at Me. Oh dear. Where's the cue ball going? And he's overcut the 3. And he's left the cue ball Chinese snookered over that 9 for Larry. But I think, now can Larry see enough of that 3? Yeah, he can certainly see it. Can he get it safe? Well, it's yet another chance for Wink at Me and Romario. And this is another little delicate one here on the 3, just to hold and not go too far on this 4-ball. And played it well. And there's a nice little angle there on the 4. Just to draw past the 7 to the sort of middle pocket in the left-hand side. Well, he stunned it towards the rail. That could have been doing with it been a wee bit further off the rail. And in it goes, and it's, well, it's a gimme now, isn't it? This 7 and 9 for 6-4. So we're into rack number 11. Romario breaking. Cue ball is scratched. Look at where the 9-ball is. Well, this is a 1 7 9 combo here. And Popman should be getting himself nicely lined up here for this 1 7 9 combo. It's all about the 1-ball and making that angle onto the 7. Oh, he's played it off the rail. I'll give him that. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he could get through there. Well, there we go. Game over. Larry and Potman have won tonight's 9-ball Scottish double single elimination tournament. They've beaten Wink at Me and Romario by 7 racks to 4. And what that means is I can get to my bed in good time. And so, until we meet again, now, there will be, I mentioned earlier, the World Championship snooker starts in a couple of weeks' time, and I'll be off for that week. So I'll definitely be streaming that week, as well as watching the snooker. So that's more than likely when I'll do my next tourney. So until then, guys, thanks for your company, thanks for being here, and we will bid you good night, and we'll see you again soon.